Hi guys, welcome to the Music B&B. My name is Callum J and today we're reacting to Phantom Island by King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. This is the 27th album from the band as a collective, and this time around they decided to incorporate orchestral elements into their music. Always innovating, always looking to move forward musically. King Gizzard definitely do try and push themselves. Now, I've heard a few singles in the run-up to the release of this album. I'm going to give you my opinion on each track as we go through it, and then an overall rating at the end. So let's listen to our first one. It's called Phantom Island, which is one of the singles. It's got this kind of nice, like, New York backstreet kind of music here, the alleyways with the New York jazz late at night. Okay, so yeah, the first song, I didn't really speak too much on it, to be honest. Really like the kind of backstreet jazzy kind of feel. What I do appreciate about King Gizzard at the moment is that the vocals are a lot further forward in the mix than they used to. When it was just Stu, I think there was maybe, I don't know, but it was a choice, you know, production-wise, but the vocals would always be kind of slightly too quiet in the mix. That would be difficult to hear, or there might be too much distortion on the vocals. Now the vocals seem a lot more clear, and I think the inclusion of a lot more band members is helping that. For the first song, Phantom Island, I think it's a strong perhaps 7 for me. It's strong, it's punchy, it's exciting, it kind of delivers what the rest of the album might be about, just from that first one. However, having heard the other singles, I also know that it's going to be different styles of orchestral. So that was kind of more like, I don't know, what you call it, club jazz, late night kind of jazz where everyone's smoking and, you know, the room's full of cigarettes. It's that kind of sound, isn't it? I know that the rest of the album, hopefully, will have different elements of orchestral pieces. Let's go to our second song. It's called Dead Stick, which is also one of the singles that led up to it. So I might not have as much to say as I might in other tracks. Okay, so it's quite like a soulful, so it's quite a soulful kind of rock number, isn't it? And having heard this is like the party one. It feels like a follow-on, perhaps from Flight 717. It feels like an extra track from that, a bonus track. It's got that similar kind of vibe, and even on the music video, you're seeing these like jumpsuit things, which comes from their, I don't know, let's call it their airplane era kind of sound. Loving the inclusion of like other band members singing in this. Makes it feel so united. The title of itself refers to a plane that lost power mid-flight. It's flight B741, by the way. Oh, the lyrics are so good. Dead Stick is way more like it. It's just such a sense of fun and unity with the band. The vocal performances on this song alone are just brilliant. The Dead Stick, I mean, that's so cool and so funky and fun. It's a fun song. If you compare it to Phantom Island, which is a lot more maybe serious in its tone, this song is definitely more full on, and it's one that I've returned to in the lead up to this album's release. Phantom Island, not so much. However, it does have its place, its merits. It's just, this was a lot more fun. I can see why it wasn't the opener track as well, because it would just feel like another Flight B741. Right, let's go to something I haven't heard yet, Lonely Cosmos. This is very, very different for King Gizzard. It's almost calm and beautiful. It's not your straight up kind of rocker. And to start with, no drums. I'd say that's quite unique for King Gizzard. I've listened to literally all their albums, and it's rare that a song will be like this. Honestly, this is the most like beautiful thing I've heard them do. The expansiveness, the grandiosity of this song, the wanderlust that comes from this kind of like, I don't know, observation of the universe is quite big. It gives this sense of openness. There's lots of space in this, and then this kind of lonely, quiet voice with the occasional call and response backing vocals give it this almost childlike wonderment of, you know, what's the world like? What's the universe like outside of us? So cute. They're making some cute songs. Oh, changing it up. Key change. Well, mode change, shall I say? When I thought orchestral album by King Gizzard, this is the song I had somewhere in my head. This is what I thought they would do. And that's why this song is a 10. It's a perfect resemblance of what I thought a King Gizzard orchestral album would sound. Much like the Weezer orchestral album, if you haven't heard it, it's called OK Human. Is exactly how I'd picture a Weezer orchestral album to sound. So far, the first 2 tracks on this project haven't sounded how I pictured a King Gizzard orchestral album to sound. This one does, in the best way possible. And that's not to say I haven't enjoyed any of the tracks so far, but this one takes the cake so far. This is amazing. Lonely Cosmos. I thought it might be overstaying its welcome for the past minute and a half, but the coda on the end was gorgeous and beautiful, and it's rare that I'd stay to listen to, I don't know, a 2-minute instrumental without there being lyrics, because I've always been lyrically minded. The human voice breeds connectivity on a track, but it was so beautifully gorgeous and pillowy in production that I just stayed within that space, and it was amazing. Right. Eternal Return. Look at that bass. Who's doing the lows? Oh, that's so good. The lyrics on this song are very good. Quite playful. Yeah, I'm liking the Wizard of Oz references. Okay, so Eternal Return was a beautiful pairing to our previous track. They kind of led into each other, which was really nice. What I'm hearing, and what I've been hearing recently from a few of the King Gizzard projects, is fun. A united band that are making music together. Beforehand, it felt a bit like the Stew Show. Not that that was a bad thing. It's just that I feel like there was a point in time, perhaps during COVID, when everything was, you know, harder to be united, that it was more the Stew Show, and that's okay. But I'm seeing a band that now are kind of working together. They're having fun. You've got the really low singing. You've got the do-do-do-do-doos at the end, which are really fun and playful. And there's just a lot of this playfulness and experimentation, which I'm all here for. And on top of it all, the best production on a KGLW that I've heard in a while. It really is. Everything's so crisp and clear, and the vocals really come through. Panpsych. So panpsychism is the idea of consciousness in all matter. I just had to look up. So panpsychism is a philosophical theory suggesting that mind or consciousness is a fundamental and ubiquitous feature of reality, extending to all matter, not just living beings. Okay, fun. The one thing I will say is the melodic runs are a lot more varied on this album. There tends to be some vocal tropes, melodic tropes that King Gizzard, having known them for a long time now, tend to go for, especially Stew. And there seems to be some variation melodically, some more new flavors. In terms of orchestral instrumentation, I can hear it, but it's very much not the focus. I kind of want it to be the focus on this project. It's an orchestral album. It still feels like the band, you know? Yeah, enjoyable, funky, fun. perhaps not what I'm so much after with this project, because remove the orchestral elements from this or drop this in another album of theirs, you wouldn't know that it had a focus of orchestral. You could just hear some elements towards the end. You know, it felt very much still like the rocky B759876431 that they've been doing. So yeah, it was all right. I'll give it 6. I wouldn't say it's memorable compared to some of the other tracks on here. Space Stick. Say that quickly, it sounds wrong. Space Stick. Well, it's not Space Stick, it's Space Sick. Some dyslexia coming through there. I've heard this guitar lick before. I've heard that. Someone tell me in the comments, where's that from? I swear that's from one of their tracks. I'm liking the story being told here. Anyway, enough about me. I like that. There's a conversation being had in there. Like that. Parasites are building a city on my intestines. It's almost like an opera about being sick in space. Okay, so Space Sick. It's a 10 for me. It's 10 for the story alone. It's got the beauty. It's got that running doom doom ba doom boom ba from the guitar with the gorgeous soaring strings. It's exactly the combination I wanted. I'm loving this kind of the spaceship kind of vibes going on in here. The tracks that have done the best on this are the ones that have almost this spacey kind of theme to them. And it's interesting. I wonder whether there at one point there was a thought for direction that maybe was to do with space. But then there were different tracks that weren't to do with it. I don't know. 10 for that one. Okay, Aerodynamic. To do with planes again and flight. Got that kind of Americana kind of sound to it. Reflecting the previous album. Okay, Aerodynamic was okay. It was nice. I enjoyed the trade-offs between vocals. Ambrose is clearly like he's so come into his own in the past few years. It's crazy. Yeah, it's all right. I don't have too much to say other than I'm noticing now a lot of lyrics to do with being in space or being in the air, and I'm kind of wondering why that wasn't kind of the artwork direction. I don't know, but there's a lot of that. There's a lot of that.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Sea of Doubt. Nice chilled intro, okay. I'm liking the message in this song as well, this kind of like doubting yourself, and I imagine we're going to move to like, we can get through this kind of lyrics. Okay, Sea of Doubt is a lot stronger in terms of the orchestration that goes along with the guitar playing, the band themselves. It does keep this kind of like washy, almost being like in a sea kind of feel with this, the swelling of the sounds, the splashing of the cymbals. And then it has this kind of like ending of like promise of hope. It's really nice. And in some ways, more what I thought the album would be like metaphorically, this song is to do with the Phantom Island, isn't it? Like being in the choppy waves around the Phantom Island. So we kind of have this push and pull between flying and space and then island related music. I'm going to give that 7. Silent Spirit. It's like a straight up rocker. Okay, this is going more back to the first track, Phantom Island. In its vein and its style. Time is pregnant with the past. What great imagery to bring the past forward, giving birth to the past. I'm enjoying the ending, just letting it go, letting it rock on. Okay, so Silent Spirit, nice, relaxed, chilled kind of thing. At this point in the album, it's not really, I mean, that didn't do much for me. It's okay. Didn't really catch my attention. It was alright. Grow Wings and Fly is our next one. Now this one I've heard, so I know it. And I love it because I love the Ode to Butterfly 3000. That's one of my favourite albums by King Gizzard. Such an unhinged video as well. Like, it's chaotic. Nice. Okay. Beautifully crafted orchestral song. It's absolutely gorgeous. And it's kind of what I wanted the album to be again. So anyway, let's go through reviewing this. I like to review using the following criteria: the flow, the lyrics, the artwork, the production, and the singing, giving an overall to all of it. So first of all, let's start with the flow of the album. And I feel this album didn't know what it wanted to be, whether it was space, flight orientated, or about an island. And it seems like there was this push and pull between the two, and they didn't really know where to settle. They settled on the island, I think. And it's a shame because it goes from, you know, all the tracks are very good, but it goes from this kind of like funky tail off from Flight B741 to then this lovely expansive orchestral sound, which is what I think they had pictured in their minds in tracks such as Lonely Cosmos or Eternal Return. And then it kind of goes back and forth between this kind of, I don't know, Flight B741 sound to this newer sound, and I don't know whether it's pulled it off correctly. You know, I feel there's about 5 tracks that are more like this new orchestral direction, more like what I had painted in my mind compared to what actually was delivered. Now, all the tracks, the orchestral elements are nice. I think they're done a lot better on certain tracks, for example, Grow Wings and Fly, and on Pansy, kind of Lonely Cosmos, etc. Phantom Island itself, for example, there's some lovely orchestral elements, and then there are times where I just feel like it's, I don't know, extra production that most modern tracks have. Most modern tracks these days will add a bit of orchestral production on the end. I feel some of them just have that, whereas some are like purely mostly orchestral, which is what I had in my mind. So for the flow of the project, I'm gonna give it maybe a 6. Like, it flows nicely, it all has the same King Gizzard sound, but almost in 2 pockets of the same band instead of being shoved in 1 pocket, shall we say. Lyrically, I thought it was quite inventive, and more inventive than a lot of previous Giz records, because they can go into this kind of like weird psychedelic world. But then we also have like a conversation, which is really interesting on Space Sick, for example. Really fun, interesting lyrics. We have the great trade-off between different band members, for example, on Dead Stick. Lyrically, I feel it's a lot stronger on this project, and more memorable than on a few of the previous projects. That's not to say all their projects haven't been, you know, lyrically strong, but I feel the lyrics are a bit more inventive, I'd say, on this one. I'm going to give them an 8. Artwork, I really enjoy the artwork, but I feel like a space or flight themed one might have been better. Now, on the actual Phantom Island artwork, they have like a plane that's crashed into an island, so I think they've tried to meld those two worlds together, but lyrically it wasn't really about crashing on an island too much, you know. I'm going to give the artwork probably a 6. I do enjoy the artwork. A lot of effort's gone into that artwork, but yeah, I don't know. I think I wanted something different to portray the music. Production was incredibly strong this time around. I'm giving it a 10. I really liked the more forward sounding vocals, the confidence vocally in the band has come on leaps and bounds, and I think the fact that everyone's getting involved and almost boosting each other's confidence vocally, you can hear that there's like support going on, I think, within the ranks. And then singing is a massive improvement because there's this trade-off and allowing people to people who have this, you'll be good for this, you'll be good for that, let's have you do this bit. And I think that allows for more interesting, more flavors to come on. Stu is a great vocalist, and let's not doubt that, because he really is. But with everyone else out bringing in these new flavors and these new melodies, it's definitely adding variation to the 27th album that this band have created. So yeah, overall, if I could give this a rating, I'd probably give it a 7. If this was more purposeful and directed as a concept, I would probably put it higher. But for me, it's lacking that concept. It's that purpose. It's almost like a divorced kid trying to choose between mum and dad. We've got two sides here to choose from. Do I want to be on an island, or do I want to be flying and up in space? And it feels like I'm having to make the choice between those two things within the album. I really enjoyed the orchestral element to it, but I don't think it was executed throughout. However, there are tracks that I will definitely be returning to that are gorgeous. For example, Lonely Cosmos was definitely a favorite of mine. So yeah, let me know, guys, what you think. You are absolutely within your rights to agree or disagree with anything that I have said. Please do let me know. Let's join in the conversation. And remember, on this channel, I don't just react to popular music, it's also independent music. So if you want to hear something that isn't the most popular stuff out there, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and check out some of the other videos. And remember, in a world where everyone wants to be heard and no one's doing the listening, be the one that does the listening. Goodbye, I guess. And now it feels so good to say hello, 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 hello. And now it feels so right to say